Have you ever had a near-death experience? Yes, I actually have. And I'm not talking about the scary monster under the bed tried to get me or I fell down the stairs. And when I say near death, I mean it was really almost lights out for your boy. Dunzo, you would have never known about me. So let's take it back to the beginning. It was spring break of 8th grade. It was 2016 and I was 14 years old. I was at a retreat with my church. We went to Panama City Beach. It was actually this one right here. I remember it very clearly. So we all arrived, we're putting our bags up. We're all super excited for this retreat. Social media wise, I had about 100K on Instagram. TikTok wasn't a thing yet, but I wasn't the backpack kid yet. I got bars, if you remember that. After we all get settled in, the resort is right on the beach. So the leaders take us as a group to the beach to go swim. Now this is where things start to go wrong and I didn't even realize it yet. We look up at the flag to see the water danger level. It's red, meaning dangerous water, but we were all like, how bad can it be? We're on vacation, we'll be fine. So I start to get in and the water is really, really cold. Didn't stop me, I get fully in as well as a bunch of other kids. Next thing I know, I'm slowly getting pushed further and further from the shoreline. I try to swim towards the shoreline, but I keep going backwards. So when I realized what was going on, I immediately enter defensive mode and I lock in on the situation. I was stuck in a nasty riptide. I didn't know what to do. There was 50 or 60 of us just continuously getting pushed further and further away into the cold ocean water. Everyone's crying, screaming for help. The waves are too loud. There's no lifeguards. I realized that we're in some serious trouble right now. Waves hitting me, water filling up my lungs, running low on energy. I try to go to the bottom, see if I can touch the sand. Nothing. But this is where it gets super crazy, and it's how I even survived the incident. So here I am, slowly drowning, getting swept away by the tide. Then something in my brain just clicked. It was a very vivid flashback of a memory I had about 4 to 5 years prior. It was me, my mom, and my stepdad watching a movie in the living room about scuba divers finding an underwater cave. And one of the scuba divers was like freaking out. My stepdad told me that for whatever reason, if I was ever in a situation where I was in the ocean and death was likely to follow, do not freak out. This is the only way that you will have any chance of survival. Keep your cool, conserve your energy, focus on breathing. So the flashback ended and I snapped back to it and I immediately started doing what he told me to do that day. I stopped trying to waste my energy, I took controlled breaths and just did my best to float until help arrived. There's nobody else in the water anymore. It's just me. Everyone else already got saved by a leader or a floaty that was thrown into the water or something. And by this point in time, I'm far back. The buildings on the shoreline were just barely a blur. My skin was turning blue due to the cold water. I was running low on energy, salt water filling up my lungs. I thought this was the end. I gave it my best shot. I'm just gonna float out here until I get tired and drown and that'll be that. Till I see a man with a floaty start swimming in my direction. When he comes close to me and grabs me, that's when I break down completely. I can remember very clearly, I start bawling my eyes out because that entire time I forced myself not to cry because that's a waste of energy. But when I knew when I got saved, I could finally let it out and everything was gonna be okay. I remember as he was dragging me back, I was physically depleted. I could barely move. So I kind of just sat there crying and talked to God. God said, not today, friend, not today. As a son of God, you are too strong to have just given up on yourself, your family, and your friends and just let yourself perish. God implanted that flashback of me and my stepdad into my brain for a reason. And without it, I would have been a goner for sure, knowing the energy I had left when I did get saved, but God works in mysterious ways. So we get back to the shoreline, the paramedics are already on the scene, and they declare pretty quickly that I have a severe case of hypothermia. I was blue, I was shaking, I could barely stand. They wrap me up in thick blankets and take me to the hospital, where I spend the rest of the vacation. But shoot, I'd rather be there than in Davy Jones' locker. So I call my mom back home, tell her the story, she's just glad I'm alive. I tell her and my stepdad that his advice years ago saved my life, and he's glad that he told me that. And the rest is history. My dance goes viral, it becomes a worldwide phenomenon. I start getting a big social following, I become an influencer. I use my platforms to spread positivity and inspire. And absolutely none of that would have happened if God didn't remind me of the life-saving advice that my stepdad gave me that day. And I'm forever grateful to be here today and to be able to share this story with you.